After making it my business for 60 years to tell other people's stories, it's a strange place for me to be in, telling my own. Elizabeth Diaz is the Colgate student who found the threads of a narrative in my rambling anecdotes. My family moved to Clinton when I was 7. I grew up in a loving home in a rural upstate college town, not imagining it would be the model for a life I'd live with my own wife and kids. After high school and a false start at RPI, I enrolled at Utica College. I worked my way through school and studied with a professor, Ray Simon, who became a friend and mentor for life. In coursework and on news reporting assignments, I began to understand that most stories are best told by the people who experience them directly. It felt like my calling was to help them tell those stories. The Vietnam War was at its height when I graduated from college in 1967. I took a job reporting the local news on WRUN in Utica, telling stories while waiting to be drafted, which didn't take long. My sweetheart, Linda Glue, was starting her junior year in college when I reported to Fort Dix for basic training on her 20th birthday in 1968. The Army sent me to Panama as a reporter and editor for the Southern Command News and Network. When I was in the Canal Zone, Linda and I corresponded every day, the old-fashioned way, with pen and paper. We proposed to each other by mail and got married halfway through my tour. She joined me in Panama for a year. A week after I got home from the service, my old professor alerted me to a job directing the news bureau for SUNY Plattsburgh. It was my introduction to a career in college and university communications. Our first two kids, Travis and Darcy, were born in that rural upstate college town. From Plattsburgh, we moved to tiny Eisenhower College, where I was director of public relations. Our youngest, Tyler, was born while we were at Ike, in another small college town. In the fall of 1980, Colgate hired me as director of communications and editor of the alumni periodical. I stayed for 25 years. I can't imagine having a job I would have enjoyed more. Our talented staff in communications was small enough that we could each be involved in a variety of projects, from the alumni paper to admissions and fundraising to media relations to launching Colgate's first ever web page. In stories about students, faculty, and alumni, we had the very best examples of Colgate's promise and its impact in the world. We won national awards for our work. Meanwhile, our family thrived in Hamilton, making lifetime friends and taking in all that the village and Colgate had to offer. 3 Leaches earned degrees from Colgate, a master's for Linda and bachelor's for Travis and Darcy. In 2000, Colgate President Buddy Corellis asked me to come into his office as assistant to the president and secretary of the board of trustees. Over the next 3 years, I worked for 3 presidents and 3 board chairs during some challenging times for Colgate and the nation. Jane Pynchon was interim president when terrorists flew hijacked airliners into the Twin Towers on September 11, 2001. At an all-campus gathering on the quad that day, Laura Klugertz played a violin solo before Jane stepped to the mic to reassure us all. Then she descended the chapel steps and literally took students into her arms in an unforgettable display of compassionate leadership. In 2003, after assisting Rebecca Chopp during her first year as president, I returned to the communications office to help build the staff and plan for new initiatives. 25 years ago, Colgate joined the village and town to form the nonprofit Partnership for Community Development. Simultaneously, the university launched the Hamilton Initiative to buy and restore aging historic properties in the village. Being closely involved in those endeavors from the outset has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. Many dedicated people have made wonderful things happen for our community, and that work continues to this day. In 2005, at the age of 60 and feeling like there was still some gas in the tank, I retired early from Colgate and pursued my dream of providing freelance communications for nonprofits, primarily in higher education. I still write for Colgate, and I've had wonderful opportunities to work with some other fascinating clients. The change has also given me more time for projects of my own, including photography, rebuilding a century-old camp in the Adirondacks, volunteering in the community, and spending more time with my 4 grandkids. Pretty good life so far.